Wilmer Cheese Factory, Lake Elizabeth Creamery, Scandia Creamery, Hub Creamery, Irving Creamery, Howick, Norway Lake Creamery, Jericho, East Lake Lillian Creamery, Harrison Creamery, Mammory Creamery, Raymond Creamery. East Lake Lillian was at Old Thorpe, out there where that road by where Butchie Gibson is. But see, that's what they picked up and moved to Lake Lillian. West Lake Lillian Creamery was right north of town, out where the hemp plant is. That burned down. Well, then some outfit from Rhode Island built one out southwest of town, which they called Lake Lillian Creamery. But the Lake Lillian Creamery that exists up until it was the one from East Lake Lillian. Because they moved. When the railroad come through in about 1921, Lake Lillian town site was the end of the railroad. They had the turntable there, and that's where they turned around and went back to the city. So then everything from Old Thorpe moved over to Lake Lillian. Drum store, post office, the whole damn works. And Erickson's store, that was out southwest, and there was a creamery out there. But then Erickson's, they moved into town too, see, and built the store. See, those early years, they took milk. The farm separator hadn't even been invented yet. So all the farmers had to bring their milk to the creamery. The creamery would separate it, and they'd haul their skim milk back home, see. Till the farm separator got in and come into going, then they'd separate it from home. Just bring the cream in. So basically they went from whole milk to cream. And of course, here along comes World War II, and the government wants this skim powder and everything, and then everything goes back to milk again, and it stayed that way. There was still some cream custard. We had cream custard up until probably 1975, and we still had probably about 35 cream pastries then. But we tried to talk them into milk as fast as we could, because the cream was such poor crap, They didn't take care of it. It was rotten. They didn't take care of the cream. It was rotten when you got it, And about all you could expect was B-grade butter out of it, So we kept that separate, when Raymond Creamery closed up, 70 someplace, but they never went to milk. All they ever took was cream, see, and there was these guys out, all right west of Sway out there, Freeburg Brothers, and God, they had cream. Oh, man. And they said, would you pick up our cream? I said, if it's no good, I said, we won't even take it. And back home. No, it's good. And it was good because, look, there's nothing we can do with it. I said, the only thing we can do is double with milk and separate it over again, So if it ain't good, I don't know, but it was good. And then I told him, for God's sake, go to milk. So then he finally went to milk, Well, at one time, Henry Presley. And that's back when I was still Kansas. He was milking 75. Yeah. I know the boys from Litchfield come and took the blue test and that stuff. They said, that's the biggest can painting in first. So there's no cream cans now. But at that time, Professor Hill's cans, get 38 cans a day. That's a lot of damn milk. Because Leroy Hauer went out there, he was in 7:30. He just about a load, 3 stops. Well, some of the real local ones hauled their own, but no, we had 5 can trucks on the road before the bulk stuff. But he'd go out there, he got Preslicka, Bill Johnson, and John Larson. Come in, I said, get it in here so we get our separator going, so we can start separating, you know. Yeah, with a lot of can milk. Gee, Christ. There isn't a creamer left. Well, see, Atwater, they still call it Atwater Creamery, but they still make out the checks. But the milk, they haul the milk. There's nothing processed because the building is even gone now. They built this new fire hall. They still call it Atwater Creamery. They should just call it. It's a fertilizer feed and that kind of stuff. So basically, there is not a creamery left in the county that is handling or processing anything, you know. Where in those early years, just about everybody was making butter, you know, unless they were selling whole milk. And then you see what happened. Everybody was skimming, basically. Some of these smaller ones, they were selling whole milk, and then Litchfield was separated. But see, then Litchfield went into cheese. Then they wanted everybody on whole milk. So we went whole milk too. Because they just wanted the whole milk to make cheese out of. I don't know if they mentioned here a cheese plant in Wilmer. I don't ever know about any cheese plants in Kennesaw County. It was all butter, you know. But you know, some of the damn artifacts, you know, everything gets thrown away. You know, like the Friday, we used to cut and wrap everything in my hand, you know, that's all machine, you know. We had those Friday boxes, you know, it would have been nice to keep one. Friday, we call them Friday boxes. Well, the only thing I could ever figure out why they call it a Friday box is that they fill them on Friday and then they could cut and wrap it on Monday. And then, of course, they never call it wrapping butter, they call it printing butter. Anyway, that's printing. And you know why they call it printing? Because those early years, they used to have a stamp they put on their pound of butter with a shock of grain or something, you know, and so it was a print. They call it printing butter, you know. Yeah. And I can remember when Svea still had a print of a grain shock on their pound of butter, you know. And they call it printing butter. So but these Friday boxes, actually what it was, it held, about 94 pounds. And it had a false bottom in it, see, and you had a deal you set it on, you clamp it down, and then you had wires, you know, this way and that way, and you jacked up that false bottom, and then you had a cutter, this cutting bar cut it off, and there was 15 pounds to each cut, you know, and then wrapped. We wrapped it all by hand, you know. I got in an argument one time with Henry Worsbecker and Gary Buer. And I told him, I said, my son helped. He got so he'd help me wrap butter. I told my son, help. We'll cut and wrap that 90 pounds in 6 minutes. Absolutely impossible. Well, I said, we'll do it in 7 then. Can't be done. So I said, well, next time we wrap some butter, I said, you goddamn come in and time us, you know. So I called Gary. I said, get in here. I said, we only got about 1-2 boxes left. I said, if you want to see how fast. And he come in. even bring a stopwatch. Yeah. And I told Clayton, I said, usually if we wide it with a hole, we patch it. He said, don't patch any holes, let's get that butter on the table. Oh, when you throw the butter in these Friday boxes, once in a while there'll be an air pocket, yeah. So we'd always patch it. Not that it was necessary, but it looked better. I don't patch it, hope. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Hey, Gary couldn't believe it, see? He had economized that there's 90 pounds there. Don't worry about it. He had to go count. I said, count it. I said, I don't care. Old people, funny, you get those holes once in a while. Once in a while you miss one, Some old gal come in with that, had the pound of butter with that hole showing on it. I said, what are you going to do about that? Well, I said, what do you mean? Whoa, I didn't get a pound. Well, I said, let's check it out and see. Put it on the scale. 1 pound, 1 ounce. I said, what are you benching about? I got talking to an old fellow yesterday, Rosendale. That was the second co-op creamery organized in the state of Minnesota. Yep. And the first one was Clark's Grove. It's way down in the southeastern part of the state. And I got talking to an old fellow that used to live out in the Rosendale area. And Rosendale was pretty much all Danish community. And I forget, he told me the old digger's name, and he helped get organized. And this Clark's Grove, his brother had organized that one and got it started. It's kind of unusual. See, then Atwater organized it. So Rosendale had to be going before 1891 because Atwater started in 1891. And they said that it seemed like Rosendale was having a successful operation that they were going to start a creamery in Atwater, So they got organized in 1891. You see, there was no such thing as a farm separator. It hadn't been invented yet. So I imagine the people would hand skim it, let the milk sit and skim off the cream and make their own butter. And then feed the rest of it calves and the pigs or whatever, And then another thing, those early years, most of them, they didn't operate in the wintertime. It was too hard to get the milk in, So they'd shut down. But you see, there was a creamery every 4 or 5 miles because it was all horse and buggy stuff, Well, I got an old churn, but I'm sitting in that water pit. And I told him, you can't have it, but I said, you can sit here on this way because I'm not going to give it to you. Lloyd Carley had picked that up on a sale for me. And, the legs were half rotted off. There's a fellow out by Roseland that redoes this stuff. And I took it out here and he made legs and matched it up. It's perfect. You can't tell it. Looks nice. That cost me $25, So I wouldn't give it up. It looks nice. And I imagine a lot of people had all their little hand insurance, and done their own. Because a lot of the people, you see, they had these stone crocks, 1 pound, 2 pound, 3 pound. And they'd put their butter in there. And then they'd take them to the store and trade for groceries. And they always tell a story about Lars Erickson, would have been Ray Erickson's dad. And this woman come in with her 2 pound crock of butter, see. And of course the mouse had got in the cream, And she said, I'll just trade it for somebody else's butter because if they don't know it, it don't make any difference, So, sure, that was fine. So Lars Erickson, he took the crock back in the back room, put a different piece of paper on it, and gave it back to her anyhow. So she still got her own damn butter. And like they say, if you don't know about it, don't make it. Yeah, one other year, I contest at Mission County. And so I took 2 boxes out. I took out one for him and one for me. See, I said, now we'll see how the hell it comes out. And by God, they both come out 100. And then they got there, flipped the coin. See who got first and who got second. And shit, I made the butter and I got second place. You know, you see, those little creameries were, because in those early years, everybody had to bring their own milk in, you know, before there was any truck service. So, good gosh, you know, well, my dad, when he started farming where Alan Junkemeyer lived. I was born there. And he hauled his creamery to Lake Lillian Creamery. That was still going, you know. And there was a store there, you know. In Rosendale, you had the creamery, you had the general store, you had the beer joint, you had the blacksmith shop, you had the gas station, you know. A thriving little inland community, you know. See, we still had the old corporate steel. I had that in the office. The Lillian Creamery Company, Thorpe, Minnesota. Yes, that's what they call it. Lillian Creamery Company, Thorpe, Minnesota. Yeah, Lillian Creamery Company, Thorpe, Minnesota. And hell, nobody in this world would know what a Friday box is. Tell them that's a Friday box. Well, what the hell is that? Yeah, they were always wood, you know. And they got fancy. They were going to make them out of stainless steel, so I bought two of them, stainless steel. Now, I sold them. I got rid of them. I said, they're not that damn good. Oh, the trouble with that stainless steel, you know, too thin. If you were slow cutting and wrapping, see, it warmed up too fast. And then the outside of your butter got so greasy on the outside that where the wood, you know, was that fixed, so it didn't warm up on you. And them early creamers, you know, they talk about a 500 pound, you know, 500 pound church. I thought that would have been a lot of butter at that time, you know. And that thing we had, it was rated at, that was a big thing. They rated it at 1,500 pounds, was supposed to be. And we pulled 2,900 pounds out of it. But then, we separated at about 52%. You know. And you could take that 52, because we had a lot of people would come in and buy a quart of cream, you know, which was kind of a nuisance, but good stuff. But you could take a quart of cream like that, set it in the refrigerator overnight, take the cap out. You could hold it upside down, there's no way in this world it ever pour out. 52% fat, but butter is only 80%. Buttermilk. E.J. Strum, he always wanted buttermilk. And of course, he had his old gallon jug, you know, and Gus used those be so good and wash it. Then he got madder than hell. Yeah, won't wash it. Okay. See, with sweet buttermilk, you know, if you left that old slimy crap in it, then it would sour right away again. You know, you buy a cultured buttermilk, it's sour is what they've done with it, you know. Get the different flavor to it. There was an old Danish fellow they had down in minister at Grace Church, you know, for a short period of time. And I see him. He said, "Do you have buttermilk?" I said, "Sure, every day." He said, "Can I get some?" "Yeah." I said, bring a jar and I'll fill it for you." I said, "I don't charge you." So he brought a jar and I gave it to him. Tastes like skim milk. Well, I said, basically that's what it is, you know. And he said, there wasn't any butter chunks in it either. I said, we don't leave butter chunks in it, you know. He had the old, I remember when they home churned it, you know, you'd always have a few little specks of butter floating around it. Oh, I said, no, we sell that, you know. That's another thing. Remember old Ben Hoosier? Well, you see, he lived in that old scale house out there, the Hemp Plant. And he always come to the creamery every morning. And in fact, before we put the new boiler in, I got him to clean the flues on the old coal-fired one because it was so damn filthy. And the dirtier he got, the better he felt, you know. But he always got a gallon of buttermilk, see? And he cleaned the flutes every other day. So I said, what do I owe you? Well, you got that gallon of buttermilk every day. Oh, so I get the buttermilk. Nah, I said, I give him $50 for the year, plus his buttermilk, you know. Well, then we put in that new boiler, and of course, we cleaned them maybe, then we burnt oil, you know. They didn't get dirty. Clean them maybe once or twice a year, and I do that myself because it was, what about my buttermilk? I said, get your buttermilk, I don't care. I said, he still hauled our garbage, and you know. And I figured up after he died, and between him and his dog, they ate that, or drank that every day, that gallon of butter. And by the God, I just figured it up. And you know, as him and that dog over them period of years, they went through 7 tons of buttermilk. Yeah, you know, a gallon a day. That's 8.5 pounds every day and every day and every day. God, oh my God, tough boy. It'd get cold, that damn old scale house. And he had an old damn stove, and he burned tires from Harold Old. And he'd sit and cut them up. And it got 10 below zero, you know. He's firing half the night to keep from freezing to death. And he'd come in the creamery in the morning. All you could see was them white eyeballs. He was just black from it. You know, you burn a tire, you get that black damn smoke. Yep. Oh, he'd dig ditches or dig this or dig that. Anything, any real dirty job. You know, way back, you know, they had the poor son of a bitch in jail, you know. As a mink rancher from Hutchins, Clamor, and he had a bunch of horses out there north of Lake Lillian. And Ben was supposed to feed them. And then he had an old Model A coupe at that time. And he sat down and lived in that, and he had a damn lantern between his legs. That's how he stayed at night. With that old lantern between his legs. And then the horses started dying. Well, hell. They were starved to death. No. And of course they blamed Ben. Well, Ben couldn't feed them if there was nothing to feed them, see? Clamor didn't bring any hay. Well, how are you going to feed them if there's nothing to feed them? And he had that old horse out there. Bet, I know what was Bill or something like that. He had a name for it anyhow. And he come in the creamery one morning. Hell, he'd been crying. I said, what's the matter? Bill died. I thought, my God, brother or something. Boy, I took my leg. No, my horse. Poor old guy. He come from down by Fairfax or someplace down there. He had a couple sisters in the city. Because the last couple winters, he was to the cities and stayed with them. And in the spring, he'd come back out. Come back out in the spring, he's all cleaned up, you know, clean. And I'd get him all scrubbed up. Oh, he'd sit in the damn cab of the truck and bark all the time. God, geez. Of course, every town seaman they had. Well, E.J. Strum, he knew everybody's license plate number, and any customer, he knew their goddamn license plate number. Guy come in and sell him a goddamn adding machine, way back, you know. Don't need it. And old E.J. said, you put down the figures. What's the figures? He said, add them up with your machine. He had them add them up before you got done with the machine. He said, do you think I need the machine? You know, God, I went over to his account one time. Run an ad in the Lake Lillian paper. Margaret, so much pound. I said, Alvin, don't you ever do that again. I said, good God, we're trying to sell butter here. He said, I'll never do it again. I'll never do it. I don't want you advertising only margarine. Yeah, him and Ray, then Cosmos. We had 2 stores in Cosmos and later here. The one time we were selling to Oak Grove in Olivia, Oak Grove in Bird Island. But I wasn't so damn happy about that because we cut and wrap that shit by hand. But then we put, I got a clearance from my wife to put our butter in Lana Lake's cartons, put the girl on and all that bullshit. then the one side panel says manufactured by Lake Lillian Creamery. Yeah, the reason I done that, Ray said, he had so much lake trade that come from the south. And they didn't trust this local butter.
Yeah.
Put it in Land Lake. Oh boy, you got good Land Lake butter, you know. Look at this butter. Then they come along, Land Lake, they called me one time, you putting your butter in Land Lake's carton? I said, yeah. You can't do that. What? I said, I got a contract as a kid. You have? I said, you better look in your files, you know, look it up and see. He said, well, you? I said, sure. I've had it for many, many years. Well, I said, we like it. Well, I said, I won't tell her. I said, I'm going to use up the cartons I got. I don't know how to get new cartons. Put it up. Just Ted Dutch from Atwater, he tell me one thing. He'd been up rooting around the old Howitt Creamery, and he found some cartons. Real nice shape. Howitt Creamery. That's been closed for. And God, you know, he had a few of them guys papers out north. And he put the butter, you know, it's Howitt cartons. You know, I told the driver, no, when they asked for butter, leave that butter with Howitt cartons. Oil and butter, you know, we made about 5 years. We made no color, no salt, no nothing. That's the way it is. No, Jewish drink. They won't eat salt or don't want that in their butter. And in wintertime, I think that was just as damn snow white as can be, you know, your butter. Yeah. You only get by about, well, from May till October without using color. As soon as the cows get on grass, then you get your color. A lot of people don't know that. You're using color at least 8 months out of the year. Oh yeah, it's a vegetable color. Yeah, that's got to be special. Yeah. And then you got to wash and clean stuff. I'll tell you, look, that's tough to me because when you're adding salt, you've got a natural preservative. You know, you don't have any salt in there, boy, you better have everything scrubbed clean. But we done that for about 5 years.
America is coming home. America is coming home. America is coming home to the good taste of butter. Nothing has the pure, natural taste of real butter. You know butter makes good food taste better. America is coming home to the good taste. It's good to be home.
What goes on the foods you love is easy. Pure Land O'Lakes butter, made from fresh, sweet cream. All things artificial need not apply. Land O'Lakes, butter is better.